Real quick before we start the video, I want to let you know that I've started an FPS community on school.com with everything you need to know to take your skills to the next level, from aiming and movement mechanics, custom training drills, how to develop a team, pro mindset videos, VOD reviews, and weekly training sessions with me. This video is actually one of the 70 videos in the course. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Alright, now on to the video. Alright, so I want to show you different grips of professional Counter-Strike players. I'm using Counter-Strike because HLTV has wonderful pictures on this. HLTV, please don't copyright me. I love you guys so much. I love your pictures. So what I did is I went to stats, top players, and then I filtered it the last 12 months. And I looked through the grips of all these players. They're world-class players. You know, some of them are top 10 players in the world. So I want to go through some of these different grips and show you how personalized a grip is, and that there really is no one right way or wrong way to do it because it's completely based on feel. But the purpose of this video is to help show you different styles that you can experiment, and hopefully they will work for you. So starting with Device, obviously he's one of the best operators in the world, super consistent. The thing I want to point out here is his right pinky. So his right pinky, it's not actually touching the mouse, but it's flared out. And the other interesting part too is that it's actually hovering above the mouse pad. You could see he does have his ring finger slightly grazing the mouse pad, which is very common. We'll see in all these pictures, but you'll see at least one or two fingers touching the mouse pad just a little bit because it gives you an extra bit of feel. So you could see his pinky is pressed against his ring finger, hovered above the mouse. Another example here, super interesting. Not many players do that, but you know, it works for him. And this is Exertion. Believe it or not, on the HLTV site, he's, you know, top 15 in the past 12 months. His team Mouse Sports is ranked #1 in the world. And look at this mouse grip. I mean, are you kidding me? There's all kinds of weird going on. His thumb, I like this thumb right here, the straight thumb. You see, I think this is an EC2, which is a right-handed mouse grip. His thumb is touching the mouse pad. His pinky's touching the mouse pad. And then, I don't know what to say. I mean, his fingers are overlapped up front. There's nothing natural about this grip. But he's a top 15 impact player in the world. So this goes to show, you know, it does come down to feel and experimentation, and I don't know how he ended up with this, but he stuck with it. This works for him. You know, we could clearly see a lot of nice side pressure. So here, that's probably his comfort feel. These two fingertips, see the pinky kind of wrapping around, which provides great side support, and then his thumb, the way the mouse is shaped, you know, that's just how his hand is able to keep the mouse stable and control at all times. We could see that the mouse, since it is right-handed shaped, it's not neutral. It's not neutral. So his forearm doesn't line up with the mouse, but he's able to make it work with this incredible grip. Here's Donk, the super prodigy, the 17-year-old who's already playing at elite level. We could see here, he has something I want to mention is that 3 of the top 5 snipers in the world actually hover their wrist above the mouse pad. And I think that promotes vertical aiming because there's less friction. So if this wrist is touching the mouse pad, it creates friction. But we'll see here, I'll point it out in some of the other snipers, but just something to mention. So if your game has a lot of vertical aim, this may be something you want to experiment with, hovering this wrist. As you could see here, he has a very forward grip position, and his pinky is touching the mouse pad just ever so slightly. The lower elbow position under the table, and then that pinky grazing the mouse pad. Or even just like the pinky, just a little bit, just to provide a little bit of feel. And I feel like if you don't have any of your fingertips touching the mouse pad, it just, you know, you lose connection with the surface of the pad and some of that feel. You could see here EliGE, one of the best North American players, super consistent the last few years. He has a very straight finger grip. So you could see his fingers are all dead straight. And this is great because it's easy to replicate. You don't have to worry about the curl. The problem with having some curl or bend in your fingers is that sometimes you might have a little bit of extra curl, some days and not, and you also lose surface contact. So when your fingers are super straight like this, again, it's super repeatable, but also provides a lot of contact. You could see this ring finger wrapping across the mouse. His top fingers are dead straight, so super consistent, easy to replicate. Another side image here, you could see all the fingers are dead straight. We could see that pinky contact here on the mouse pad. And here's a picture of FaZe. So we can look at different grip styles here. We could see Rain here. He also has the straight fingers as well. We see Olaf Meister, you could see the straight fingers. We could see that pinky contact. The ring finger resting over the pinky. And then we have Nico here. He has that curled pinky finger, which people like. Kind of feels awkward for me, but we'll see in some of the other pro pics. This is very common. And then here is Frozen. So you could see he has the straight fingers as well. He has a right-handed shaped mouse. You could see those two fingers and a ring finger grazing the mouse pad. And then we see here his teammate Ropz, definitely one of the most mechanically gifted players. He has that kind of shroud grip where both the pinky and ring finger are curled, and he has a right-handed shaped mouse. And here's Monasy. He's definitely another prodigy. He's a sniper, and he has his wrist hovering about the mouse pad just a little bit. Then you could see his pinky finger grazing the mouse pad image clearly. But this is a pretty standard grip, but he has the straight fingers. And that right finger overlapping the pinky. You could see his teammate Nico, he has that curled right finger, and the ring finger pressing into the side button, or the kind of side frame of the mouse. And here we go, here's that picture of that wrist hovering over the mouse. So here's Ropz, great image of the curled fingers. Like I mentioned before, he does use a right-handed shaped mouse. So he's got great side support with his pinky and his ring fingers, the fingertips pressing into the mouse. So if you use a right-handed shaped mouse, this might be something that could be useful for you to try. And here's a mouse grip of Swag. So, some people say, oh, just grip the mouse naturally. Just grip it however your hand goes on the mouse. And it's not always the case. Sometimes you have to finagle and twist and move your fingers around. And that's going to be your goal in finding your grip. Whatever mouse shape you have, obviously that's going to have a huge effect on how you grip the mouse. So, the more mouse shapes you can experiment with, the more you can experiment with different grips and what feels right, because I feel like the mouse is the most important piece of equipment because it determines the shape and how you're going to grip the mouse. It's your only connection to the thing that controls your crosshair and your aim. So we could see this super contorted ring finger overlapping the pinky, and it's all kinds of messed up, but he was one of the most mechanically gifted players in Counter-Strike. And here's an image of the FaZe team. Here's Twist. He has the wrist hovering above the mouse pad, and he's got super forward fingers. You can see the fingers are actually overlapping the top of the mouse. And here's ZywOo, probably the best player in Counter-Strike right now, definitely top 3, major championship winner, and he's got his wrist hovering above the mouse pad, and he's a sniper. So like I said, ZywOo, Donk, and Monasy all have their wrist slightly hovering above, and I think that helps with the vertical aiming. And the reason is what I think it is because the forearm skin under here, it actually moves a little bit. There's a little bit of space. So say if you put your forearm on the edge of the table right now and just lift your wrist above the mouse pad, you'll see that if you move your forearm, that skin gives a little bit of give, which gives them extra kind of space and allowance to aim vertical motions, which in opping you kind of have to do, right? You got to be able to aim vertically, if you're high ground or low ground. Or he has straight fingers. He's got the pinky grazing the mouse pad as well as the ring finger. So that's a commonality that you'll see in all these grips. They have at least one of these fingers slightly grazing the mouse pad. Another picture here, super straight right pinky. We've got the ring finger overlapping. We've got those fingertips grazing the mouse pad. So yeah, we can clearly see there's no right or wrong way to grip the mouse. I'll go over the benefits of certain types of grips that you can try, the pros and cons of each, but it's all down to feel and also the mouse shape. It's super critical what mouse you have. If you put your hand on one mouse and then another mouse, you're going to feel completely different. And then you're going to adapt your hand around those contours and shapes to give you that stabilization and be able to micro correct and also track and so forth. So yeah, I'll end that video in here and just keep that in mind. It's up to you to trust your feel, your intuition, your hand-eye coordination, and being able to contort your fingers, whether that's straightening some fingers, bending them, side pressures, mouse rotation, whatever it is. Again, that's your goal to figure out what works best for you. And I'll provide those aiming drills later on in this course so you can test different style grips in these aiming drills to see what works for you.